17-year-old Kiera Jones watches as her club volleyball team practices for an upcoming game. It will be another 2 months until she is able to join them as she continues to recover from an elbow injury.
Well, about 2 years ago, I went to pass a spike and it pushed the ball out of place.
Kiera continued to play.
But I really didn't feel it till like afterwards.
And afterwards for her was 2 years later. It wasn't until this past March that Kiera finally told her doctor about the recurring pains in her elbow and found out she needed surgery.
Unfortunately, most of the education comes in the doctor's office when the kids get hurt.
Dr. Jeffrey Guy is the assistant professor of orthopedic surgery at the University of South Carolina School of Medicine. He says over the years they have begun to see more sports-related injuries in younger patients.
Kids are getting bigger, they're getting faster, they're starting younger, and probably one of the biggest things that we're seeing is kids are starting early, but they're focusing on one sport.
This specialization in one sport is what Dr. Guy and other experts say leads to overuse injuries.
Nowadays, athletes as young as 8, 9, 10 years old are specializing just in baseball or just in softball or just in volleyball. And so they're not cross-training, they're not developing different muscles, and so they're really putting a huge amount of stress on their shoulders and elbows, which are leading to a lot of these injuries.
For Kiera, volleyball was her main focus for just about half of her life.
7 years.
How often are you playing?
Since I played high school and club, I played year-round.
Year-round, so you never take a break? Experts say these overuse injuries are also connected to the type of athlete.
Now what we're seeing a lot of is injuries in overhead athletes. So baseball players, softball players, volleyball players, swimmers, athletes who are putting their arm up over their head with lots of frequency and sometimes great force and speed.
So that's a lot of pressure and a lot of damage to kids. And you're talking about junior high and high school. And there's a lot of pressure on kids, the feeling that if they take a break that something bad's going to happen, that they're going to lose something.
Which is why getting some young athletes to give their body a break can be tough.
I feel like when I get back on the court, I'm not going to know what I'm doing.
So how can young athletes be properly guided on how to create a balance between the competitive sports world and maintaining their health?
I think it's really important for an athlete to know that pain is your body's way of telling you that something's wrong.
Best thing parents can do probably, number one, encouraging their kids to play multiple sports, I think, is a dying art.
Dr. Guy says education and community outreach programs can also be used as preventative measures. Although Kiera is itching to get back on the court, she's happy to have found something more valuable than winning: her health. Stefania Okoli, Carolina News.